Hi, and welcome to Drones for Good from Modus, where we chat about how drones, LiDAR mapping, and geospatial technology is impacting the world around us. Today, I'm joined by Trent Casi, who's the government account executive at Wingtra. Hi, Trent, how are you?
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me on the show. So nice to virtually meet you guys and looking forward to chatting.
Likewise, very much so. So first of all, tell me a little bit about Wingtra. What is it that you guys do?
Yeah. So Wingtra is the world's leading manufacturer of VTOL wide area mapping drones. So we have one model. We're based in Zurich. We have a support office in Croatia, a number of employees around the world. And we basically focus on the photogrammetry mapping with the Wingtra and producing great data that can be used across government agencies, utilities, surveying, oil and gas, lots of universities as well, too.
So Trent, some exciting news at Wingtra recently. So you've just made the Blue UES list. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yes. So yes, we're very excited. One of the bigger milestones in Wingtra history that we're now on the government Blue UES 2.0 list, which is sponsored by the Defense Innovation Unit. So that basically means the US government has blessed the Wingtra for approved hardware and software to be used on government projects. So for example, the US Army Corps of Engineers can now use Wingtras to map sensitive areas, any sort of government assets and projects. So a lot of oil and gas companies and utility companies are following this path as well to protect American assets that they basically have an approved VTOL wide area drone on the list. And we are the only VTOL wide area system on that list. So we're very excited for this milestone for Wingtra.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Just talk to me a little bit about how government work differs from commercial work.
Sure. So the government, works a little slower pace potentially than commercial work, but government different procurement areas as well too, but different groups throughout. Let's say the Army Corps of Engineers, they have different offices. They may each have a Wingtra in their office. Where commercial work, of course, it's there to make money for projects and support a lot of infrastructure surveying projects. Where the government, they're looking at keeping their assets up to date as well, but basically using them internally to make sure their assets are mapped efficiently and accurately.
So you mentioned some of your applications there. Just talk to us about a little bit more in more detail about what it is you guys do. For example, surveying, infrastructure, mining, environmental monitoring. Talk to me a bit more about that.
Sure, absolutely. So if we look at the mining side of things, the Wingtra system, a very intuitive system to use. We have the actual hardware of the drone, which is the wing with the camera systems, all electronics, the guidance systems that basically it flies itself. So a very, we call it almost like a smart drone. So you have that. And then you have a piece of software called Wingtra Pilot, which is installed on a ruggedized Samsung tablet, which actually is the ground station for the drone. And that allows you to do flight planning missions accordingly, whether you're flying several hundred acres or 100 acres. And then, of course, once you land the drone, after you collect your images, then you use photogrammetry software like a Pix 4D, Agisoft, Drone Deploy, Propeller Arrow to process data that produces, at the end of the day, it's the analytics and the data, which is the valuable piece, whether it be contours, let's say maybe looking at floodplains, elevation modeling, orthomosaics as well, and also 3D models. We recently came out with an oblique camera on the Wingtra, which allows you to do vertical 3D asset mapping. So if you go to wingtra.com/Zurich, you can actually take a look at that 3D high fidelity 3D model, which is game changing as well for us. So it's all about the data and analytics that pay the bills at the end of the day. And you have to have a really good workflow to make sure that data is accurate. And Wingtra hardware and software allows you to have that very good accurate workflow and be able to quickly process data.
Tell me how the Wingtraone drone differs from other drones, Trent.
Yes. So the Wingtraone drone is a VTOL drone. So it's a tail sitter. It's vertical takeoff and landing, which basically against a belly lander, that means you're protecting your optics. Number two, you can take off and land in small areas. And also number three, less wear and tear on the system as you're not doing a belly, kind of a controlled crash landing with your typical belly landing fixed wing. The system itself, it's very intuitive. So, you spend a couple hours on the system. We're very much trying to make it dummy proof as well. So knock on wood, our system is very hard to crash. You have to do something pretty extreme to have it to crash. So we're really trying to make a very self-sufficient smart drone in that aspect. We have a variety of payloads as well. So you can actually change a payload in less than 3 minutes. On the Wingtra, whether it's multispectral work, oblique work, your standard orthomosaics as well too. So, and the system itself is very reliable. What keeps the Swiss up at night, we're based in Zurich, is that high quality craftsmanship, high quality system. So they want to make sure that, if you're driving 3 hours north of Dallas, Texas, to do work in oil and gas, that, this system is not going to fail. A lot of our customers speak highly of that quality, that workhorse mentality that the Wingtra brings to the table.
Now, obviously, as we've just discussed, you've recently made the Blue UES list, but what else is in store for Wingtra? Can you share us a little bit about, what you guys have planned for the future?
Sure, we're constantly looking at, the reliability of the system, basically that health checks that constantly tell you, at the end of the day, drones do wear out the hardware. We want you to always be on. So we're constantly looking at the health of the drone. There's a lot of drone companies that have come out with tons of features and everything else. But Wingtra, of course, we have lots of rich features, but we've also really focused on the reliability of the system. So that's always going to be core to the Wingtra system. Be able to have a system that can keep flying like a workhorse. We are looking at other payloads. We're having very much a hard look on LiDAR. We get some requests on that. Majority of our customers are okay with the photogrammetric approach, but that's something we're looking at. If we do integrate LiDAR at some point, it's going to be a great sensor. We just don't want to slap on something and say we have LiDAR. So for us, it's creating that accurate data. So at some point, we may have LiDAR. Like I said, we're looking at a hard look on that. We're looking at other multispectral integrations as well. We have 2 integrations with the MicaSense product line. So for multispectral work, you can do health of vegetation, watershed mapping, riparian, environmental work, wetlands, things like that as well. And we are looking at, thermal as well. So that's something as well that our product team is having a very close, hard look at. And then also the other thing, of course, is BB loss work as well. So, that is something we're keeping in mind as the FAA matures in these laws. That's something we're definitely interested in supporting. The new Gen 2 that came out last fall, basically it's remote ID ready. So we have that by law. It's going to be September of 23 for a service provider to have that. So it's already on the Wingtra. We just don't have it turned on. That's something that we're also constantly looking at updates and so forth. But primarily the Wingtra is we're really focused on the reliability of the system. That's at the forefront of what we do. Because, you want a workhorse platform, you don't want something to fail. We've had these fly in Antarctica. We've had them, lots of them fly in the Middle East above the Arctic Circle. They're out in the South Pacific doing some work with the Nature Conservancy for bird count, population mapping as well. So very much the system can work in a lot of rugged environments. So we definitely are always trying to enhance the reliability of the system because, we need to be able to bring in these kind of harsh environments as well. It needs to be successful at it as well.
Wow, exciting stuff. Well, Trent, thank you so much again for joining me today. And if anybody wants to, find out a bit more about what you guys do, how can they get a hold of you?
Sure. My email is just trent.casi, so C-A-S-I at wingtra.com. You can also go on our website, wingtra.com, and take a look at the offerings and so forth. And then also, I'm also on LinkedIn a lot. So I do a lot of work through LinkedIn. You can find me on there. We have lots of team members here in the US as well. So feel free to reach out to any of us. But thanks for your time today and the great discussion.
No worries at all. Thanks again, Trent. And if you've enjoyed today's show and you'd like to be the very first to be updated on our brand new content, don't forget to hit the notifications button. Until next time on Drones for Good, bye for now.